Hey everyone, it's your girl Maddie here, aka Beavermot, and today I am joined by the Warsaw-based Species, who just a couple of weeks ago put out a new record, the Changelings. Um, Michael, I'm sorry I don't have your name on the on
Ah,
the
sorry.
label.
02700.
Yeah,
But you can call me Hagrid.
agreed. Okay, how are you two doing today?
Well, great. We just basically played a show yesterday here in Poland in lovely city of Białystok.
Okay,
And yeah, just basically came back home from the show and here we are. So,
awesome. Awesome. And we were talking before we started recording. You played with a band called Toughness from Poland, a death metal band.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Go and check them out. They're absolutely amazing.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to ask you because I've seen some good reaction to the record, but for you, how have you felt the acceptance, the reaction to the record has been?
Well, I would say, you know, definitely very positive.
Yeah.
I don't know really how to express that because I mean, we just it's still going, and we are still kind of processing it because there's a lot of reviews coming up like all the time, pretty much, and we're getting to talk to people. And you know what? We are. This was actually yesterday that it was the first show that we played since the release of that record, and
Eh,
we got to talk to you know quite a lot of people, like just to exchange a few words, not through email or Facebook or whatever, but just to actually talk with people. And the reception's been great. And yeah, I mean, I would say that it kind of surpassed our expectations, to be honest. However, getting to do this with 20 bucks spin, we knew that there would be great promotion going on for that
yeah.
record. We kind of had that, we were sort of expecting that we will be getting a lot of reviews and just media coverage in general for that release. So yeah, but the actual reception from people, has been great, and I know that it just makes me wanna, compose more and more and just sit with
Yeah.
the guitar and come up with new ideas. Yeah.
Exactly.
I you mentioned you're on 20 bucks spin, probably at least in my top five favorite labels. They're like one of the labels if just you just see if that
Yep.
like if they are if there's a 20 buck spin attached to a record, I'm gonna listen to it. I there's so many metal albums that come out a week. I can't listen to all of them, but if it's a 20 buck spin, I'm gonna listen to them because I trust that they are, they put out quality music every time. They really, they're not just putting on any record. They put out records that they really believe in. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
many.
And that's what I've been doing for the past 8 years or so, since Two Mold's second album came out. So yeah, I mean, when our debut album kind of got their attention because it was mentioned on a favorites list for 2022, we immediately, I immediately told the guys that, hey, we're on the list of 20 bucks spin, and they were like, no way, let's just yeah, focus on the next release. Let's finish writing, let's record it, let's contact the label, and let's see what we can do. And yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't even like contacted any other label, but 20 backspin. So like we focus like 100% on like contacting them and doing our best to make it happen.
I ask every thrash band that comes on my show this because I've heard other metal fans say that thrash is dead. Thrash died in the 80s. and
Yeah.
that, death metal took over in the 90s and then thrash just, had its heyday, but it's over now. What do you say to that?
Well, as far as I know, like since like the beginning of century, like 2002, 2003 or 4, there's like this thrash revival
Yeah.
again after like 1990s. Like all of these new genres that came up, like of course starting with grunge, then like some new metal bands. And I think since then, since like I said, like beginning of 2000s, this thrash music in general it's maybe not getting more and more popular, but definitely I wouldn't say it's decreasing.
No.
Uh, and especially now after COVID, you have more and more festivals. I think that there are more and more bands formed every month. A lot of releases, a lot of tours, concerts, like venues, clubs are
Yeah.
really stuffed with graphics of concerts. Uh, so I'd say it's doing pretty well.
I'd say that there's a, I'd say that there's a pretty strong thrash underground out there.
Mm.
There are labels and that are putting out, mostly thrash actually, or some
Yeah.
kind of variation on that. Like there's this label called Dying Victims, for example, here in Europe.
Yes.
They're putting out a
Germany.
lot of thrash, and like, yeah. Um, but maybe there aren't too many new like big thrash bands, bands that are getting so big. Like for example, in death metal, you have Blood Incantation, or Sanguisugabog, or there's like currently on there's Fulci on 20 Buck Spinner, currently on tour with Cannibal Corpse, right? So
Yeah.
you got these big death metal bands emerging every now and then, black metal obviously as well. But thrash, I don't really see that many bands getting into this kind of level,
Yeah.
newer bands at least. But I think that in terms of underground, there's actually quite a lot going on, and you know, but also for us, really. I mean, we're a technical thrash metal band, technical, progressive thrash metal band, or whatever you want to call it. But actually, like thrash is really the just like kind of the basis of what we want to do here. And we kind of started, when we started the band in 2018, we were initially playing these, kind of a little bit twisted uh thrash riffs here and there, but
Yeah.
with every next not even with every next release, but pretty much with every song that we wrote, we would incorporate more elements of different kinds of music, whether it's prog, funk, jazz, or whatever we want to put there. I mean, there's thrash is really the basis here. So maybe we're not the best band to answer the question, but
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of good thrash going on, and especially here, like I'm not too familiar. I mean, I know that there's a in the US, I think there's a label that's like a sub-label of Dark Descent Records. There was this label called Unspeakable Acts, and they had a pretty solid amount of thrash bands in there as well. There was this band called Critical Defiance, and I think they're doing pretty well as well. I think they're releasing records. Even I think they even had a new one like this year or last year. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, maybe there aren't so many big bands, but I wouldn't say it's dead. It's maybe it's more in the underground and it's waiting just
Yeah.
to emerge a little bit higher again. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like the past decade, maybe Havoc is the biggest name
Sure.
when it comes to thrash metal. From like newer ones, you've got this Schizophrenia band from France. They are doing
Oh
pretty
yeah, yeah.
well. They've got a great drummer, by the way. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, and since like the 2000s, there hasn't been as many big bands emerging as like you say in death metal, but there has been, bands like Power Trip, of course, and
Oh
and
yeah,
oh yeah.
Power Trip is
and
yeah,
Toxic
you're right.
Holocaust and Municipal Waste. So there's been thrash bands
Mhm.
that have popped up. So it's not like it's ever gone away. It's just maybe has not it's been a little more in the shadows.
maybe, yeah. But what I meant is that in the past, let's say 10 years, maybe, because Municipal Waste or like Toxic Holocaust, I mean, these bands have been going for over 20, 25 years or
Yeah.
something, right? So yeah, but in the past, let's say 10 yeah, like you said, like Power Trip, that's probably the biggest, one of the biggest names, I guess. That's yeah.
So when I hear the album, you already mentioned it has a progressive technical side. I hear the first band that came to my mind were Voivod and Coroner. Am I correct in saying that those are bands that you were definitely trying to emulate in the first year?
Partially, I
Yeah.
would say, yeah.
50%.
Przemek, are you gonna say that, or am I going to say that?
You can go on.
All right, yeah. I mean, I must tell something that probably a lot of people are gonna hate us for, or at least hate me because I'm the one saying it. But I have never been a huge fan of Voivod,
Oh
honestly. Like,
wow.
to be honest, like, I mean, what I mean by that is I don't think I've ever paid enough attention to this band, you know? I mean, behind me you see all these cassettes. I have one Voivod tape in there, and that's the only album from them that I have, and it's Nothing Face. And I listened to it like 2 or 3 times, and that's really the only album from them that I listened to more than once. And
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever listened to their entire discography. I think I saw them live once, and I've never been big on this band. I don't know. I think I'm every now and then I would try a different release, and I listen to it, and I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but but on the other hand, you mentioned Coroner, and that's been one of my favorite bands since like, I don't know, probably since I was like 14. So I would
Okay.
say middle school in Poland here, at that time at least. So yeah, and that is a band that I've just, I mean, I pretty much know their entire discography by heart. I mean, and I
Nice.
have all of their releases, and I can listen to it all the time. I had this episode in my life that I was learning pretty much every single song from Mental Vortex on guitar, and
Okay.
Tommy, the guitarist, he's even in the thanks list
Mm.
on the album because he's been such a big influence. So I cannot wait for the new album to come out. Um, I still kind of can't believe that they're actually releasing it because it's
Yeah.
been 32 years since Bryn
Yeah.
and 30 years since that compilation that was their last release ever. But yeah, but that's been a favorite of mine, and I think for the rest of the guys, it's also been one of the favorite bands, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell. And same with Voivod for me. Uh, they are waiting, or I'm waiting to get to know them closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have a
Hopefully,
couple friends who are like obsessed with this band, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. And they
but
would
yeah,
go
like
to like,
every
yeah, and they know all the albums, and they would go to every single, show that they play here or whatever, and just and they have like a full wardrobe of Voivod merch. I mean, it's crazy. We have a couple of friends like that. Yeah, literally. Seriously. I mean, the guy, there's this one guy, he would even post like, I saw him posting on a Facebook group like, "Hey, I'm looking for Voivod merch." Like, wow.
yeah, Luigi.
Yeah, so there are some pretty crazy fans here, and I guess there's still time to get into it. But on the other hand, I really like. I mean, I think currently Dan from he was in the band Martyr from
Okay.
Canada. He's in Voivod. So I absolutely love Martyr. I mean, that's a killer band. That I love that, especially that debut album. Oh man, that is a great, 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 great album. Seriously, and great band. So I definitely got into that much more than, but it's also heavier, I think, and
Sure.
maybe that's why, because I come from more of a death metal background rather than thrash background, actually. So yeah.
And I'm assuming also bands like you're also into bands, progressive rock bands like Rush, King Crimson. Am I correct in saying
Oh
that?
yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. We were just coming back today from the show, and we were just, I mean, the whole, the whole trip was just listening to King Crimson, and then
Okay.
just, yeah, some weird stuff from that our friend from Toughness was introducing us to. So yeah.
Well, I gotta ask you then, what's your favorite King Crimson record?
Oh, it's Red,
Red?
obviously. Yeah, it's got to be Red.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like even last year we to celebrate 50th anniversary we had a tour the fall tour at the end of the year, and we performed like the middle part from Starless, and
Okay.
like
Well, yeah,
the
well,
reception was
actually
like
the ending part, because yeah, it was like from the middle.
yeah,
Yeah, that whole,
but
instrumental section.
we
Pretty
didn't even
much.
like introduce the song, like we just played it after we finished uh, Ex Machina, which is the longest song of ours from the first record, and we would like transit from one song to this Starless fragment, and like observing people's reaction was quite a nice experience, because some of them would like I don't know, go to the bathroom. Some of them were like super crazy, ooh, and
Yeah.
some of them were like so shocked, like, hey, what are they playing actually? So yeah, nice experience.
All right, well, I gotta ask you about Rush too. Do you have a favorite Rush record?
Well, I would say probably the one that I listened to the most, and the one that I just come back to the most is probably Farewell to the Kings.
Great one.
Yeah, so I would go with that one. Um, but yeah, Signals, that's probably another one. I actually like the 80s. I've always been into, the kind of 80s, you know, this there's this term like neo prog rock or something that refers to like when prog rock bands were going more radio friendly in the 80s.
Yeah.
Some people, they absolutely hate that, and they treat this like some kind of betrayal, of the prog stuff. But I actually really like it. And in terms of Rush, there was this album called Power Windows, and it was very radio friendly. Yeah, there's a song called Marathon, and it's absolutely great. Yeah.
I
So,
love Signals. I think Subdivisions, great song to open up the record.
yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great one. Sure.
Uh,
Uh, I don't know. I would go with like I think that Permanent Waves and Moving Pictures were recorded in the same studio, like within some short period of time, and it sounds like a, a continuation. One album continues the next one, but I'm still in the process of like learning the whole discography of Rush, because like whenever I
Oh,
start
me
listening to
too.
one album, I stick to it for a long time, and I process it. So I wouldn't say I have my favorite one, but I started out with those two, so Permanent Waves
hmm.
and Moving Pictures. So maybe out of sentiment, I would go with these ones.
Permanent Waves is my favorite as well. And you're right about the neo prog. King Crimson kind of did that too with Discipline, and I love that
Yeah,
record.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about this record today, actually. Yeah, that's a great one too.
Hmm. Um, I know back in August, this was before the record came out.
Hmm.
You played with Dark Angel. Did you
Oh
did
yeah, I even got the shirt. Yeah.
did you perform any of the new material then, and how was it received then versus like when people weren't familiar with it at the time?
Well, actually, some of the new songs,
Yeah.
we had already been playing them for quite some time, actually, because they were written on the course of like almost, I mean, close to 2 years, pretty much. I mean,
Okay.
like year and a half. So some of these songs, actually, like the opening track in Spirit Creation, or fifth track, which is the opener for side B. This is Born of Stitch and Flesh. So we've been playing these two songs since like I would say
2.5 years. Yeah.
early 23, I guess. So yeah, we've been playing these songs for quite some time, and then we also somewhere in 2024, I think we started playing The Essence live as well. So we played all of these songs, and obviously, usually when we're playing these smaller gigs in clubs, people that come, they are usually people who are more into the underground stuff, and they kind
Yeah.
of know what's going on with these more underground smaller shows. But then when there's a band like Dark Angel, you've got all the audience that usually doesn't attend such small gigs, but they go to the bigger ones. So we
Yeah.
got to perform in front of some people who probably wouldn't see us, if we played, like a small local gig or something. So yeah, it was pretty good, and it was cool because at the same time there was already, I guess you can call it that there was some kind of bit of a hype going on because this was right after we announced that we're releasing a record, and we
Mm.
released the single, which, like I said, I mean, some people have already heard it live before that, but
With the video.
yeah, but we did the video and the track was finally available and you can actually listen to it and hear it properly, right? With all the things that are going on in there. So yeah. But yeah, the reception was pretty good.
I gotta ask about that video for The Essence. What was the idea behind, just this very film grainy, almost like feels like it's from 1970 kind of approach.
Yeah. Well,
It's funny.
well, Shemek, what was the idea? I mean,
Well, initially, I think it was your idea so Mike's idea to.
what
No,
what
initially we just wanted to have the video that is like this. I think that most of bands when they do their first music video, they just play the song, and there's not much of some history behind it going on in the video. So initially, I think that was the idea, and then Mike came up with. He showed us, or he reminded us of Scorpion's performance from. Uh, I think it
wasn't
was
that
you. Yeah.
I think
Well,
Well, I think what we did was we kind of had in mind that we want to do like a video of us playing, but just add something into it, but not make it like a big, music video with like a script or something, right?
Yeah.
But so I always liked, I always liked the older style videos from like old MTV kind of
Yeah.
headbangers ball type of stuff. Yeah, right. So I've always been a fan of that. So I was like, okay, we got to do this in the, in the correct aspect ratio, right? You got to have this in like 4/3 or whatever we want to call it or something. And you got to have that, VHS type of filter, that
Yeah.
grainy old VHS look. And I think it was actually I think it was actually Peter, the bass player and the vocalist. So I think he came up with he showed us the Scorpion Sales of Karen video, and we were like, this is actually, this actually kind of is what we were thinking about. Uh, but we were like, okay, but let's add some stuff to it. Let's add like, okay, let's say we are in a bar and there's this guy and there's all these people who are just like sitting in the bar, but then we start playing and they start going crazy, because this music is just kind of crazy. Yeah, and we did all these effects. And yeah, I mean, a lot of bands were doing these kind of psychedelic type of videos in the 70s. I mean, it was we kind of thought that we would do like you know, like imagine a band playing in a TV or radio station studio,
Sure.
that type of video. So I guess that was the main idea here, and that Sales of Karen video, but also like I think some other bands like Black Sabbath had some kind of videos like that. I'm sure there
Oh
are probably
yeah.
more. So yeah, it was like a mix of these few things, and of course we're playing in these, Hawaiian shirts, but you
Yeah.
know, for a lot of people who haven't seen us live, I mean that's how we play shows actually. So I guess um, for the people who haven't seen us, maybe it might seem like a just total mess or what are you guys doing there, but
Grotesque.
but actually here, I guess a lot of people that have already seen us or heard of us or whatever, they kind of know that we're the guys who play in Hawaiian shirts and they play technical thrash metal. So
Yeah,
and they have mustaches. So yeah.
I was gonna ask you about the Hawaiian shirt because I mean I've seen pictures of you both of you in other band and you have a more traditional metal aesthetic, but here you're just like yeah we don't look like a metal band and that's kind of that kind of the
Oh
bit
yeah.
kind of a troll a joke.
Well, I'd say that maybe something else.
Yeah,
Like so don't take it too seriously. Because we are not limited to like playing metal only, and we don't consider ourselves as like a you know metal band in a sense that it's all about metal
yeah,
because I think you can hear it in the music, and this thing with Hawaiian shirts, it just came out like naturally because Peter, our vocalist and bassist, he likes wearing these kind of shirts like
Yeah,
on a
he's got
daily
like a full
basis,
wardrobe of them.
and he would perform in this Hawaiian t-shirt before, and I think sometimes it happened to me as well. And I don't know, like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, when we were on a tour, we just decided to wear Hawaiian shirts, like all of us. Uh, you know, what
The
was
initial
the
reaction was like, "What the hell?" from the people, but we we kind of liked it, and I guess some people, did too, and it's there, and I think yeah, that's you know these shirts. I mean, they I would say they kind of fit the music because the music, especially on this new record, is just very colorful. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know how can
anyway?
you. Yeah, I mean, when you look at it all blends together. If you look at I don't know if you have the physical release of our record, but it's got like the whole layout is just full of colors,
Yeah.
and the cover arts as well for this album, for the previous one, and then it just I think it all just matches, and it just fits. So that's I don't think like that kind of. I mean, if we played in like an armor or something, like I don't know what Led Benton would do. I mean, it wouldn't fit here. So I mean, I absolutely love Deicide, but it just doesn't fit our music.
Sure.
So yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you to give me a controversial take here. Or maybe not controversial, but I'm gonna have you ruffle some feathers. I'm gonna have you pick between Metallica or Megadeth.
Metallica.
Metallica?
Yeah, I mean, it was my story with getting to know metal rock music. Of course, obviously started with Metallica. It's quite classic,
Yeah.
and yeah, out of sentiment, I would go with Metallica. But Megadeth has a lot of great stuff to offer as well. And actually, like 1 week ago, there was a 35th anniversary of Rust in Peace.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I listened to that album again, and I can tell how how much I'm influenced by Nick Menza, by his playing on that album. Because when I started playing drums, I would, try to play along to these songs from that album. So, but still, out of these two, I would pick Metallica.
That's interesting as a drummer that you pick Metallica because people don't think too highly of Lars.
Well, believe me, I like Lars. I think he deserves a place in the top 10 metal drummers
Really?
of all time because he is in the band called Metallica. He like kind of made this band
Yeah.
what they are now, and when you are like 12 or 10 and first thing you watch on TV or on the internet out of these metal live performances, I think Metallica is one of the first bands that come out, and
Oh
you
yeah.
see these stars in spandex and in white sneakers, topless, big ass drum sets. It looks cool, and even though
Yeah.
for the past, I don't know, maybe 30 years or so, he hasn't been maybe performing well, but the first 4 or 5 albums, it's great drumming there,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Um, very catchy. Like he knows where to put very simple drum fill,
Yeah.
so it's catchy and it's fits the song, fits the riff,
Yeah.
or suits the riff. And yeah. If I talk to my fellow drummers, Lars Ulrich is a name in these discussions.
Yeah, I would go with Metallica as well, probably. Yeah, for pretty much the same reasons. Although I absolutely love Megadeth as well, and I mean, I got to see them live a couple years ago, and they were absolutely amazing. I mean, Megadeth, and I played my favorite song, so I'm happy because that doesn't happen too often that a band plays my favorite song
Which one?
when Angry Again. That's my favorite one.
Ah, yeah, we
That's
were on the
I
show
mean,
together. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that title pretty much sums me up, so
I agree with your take on Lars to an extent. I think when you listen to like Master of Puppets, some of Lars fills just fit like James is playing so well. Like if you put like Nickel McBrain or Dave Lombardo, it just wouldn't fit. So I think Lars is the right drummer
Yeah,
for Metallica.
Yeah, exactly.
and he's a big composer of songs of
Yeah,
Metallica, along with James, right? So if you think of Lars just in terms of like his technicality, like who cares about technicality?
yeah.
Uh, I mean, of course, a lot of people care about technicality, but it's not all about that. It's about the expression, the facial look, everything.
I mean, if I want technicality, I mean, I'll go listen to Mike Portnoy. I'll go listen to Dream Theater, and I'll love it. But there's bands that have different appeals in Dream Theater. Dream Theater is good for their reason, but other bands don't need to be that technical to be a good band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, Mike Portnoy, yeah, he's a great influence as well, and I'd say he's like this Lars Ulrich of Dream Theater of progressive metal
Yeah.
because he's got great personality and
Yeah.
wow, yeah, he's huge.
Um, the last thing I wanted to ask you to is there's such a sci-fi presence in your music. Where does this interest in science fiction come from? Why is it so present in your music?
Well, there's two things. Maybe there's more, but there's two
Yeah.
main things to it, and one thing is the lyrics, which are written by Peter, who's the vocalist and bass player. And I know that he's really into science fiction, especially like sci-fi video games. And I
Yeah.
mean, he's just a nerd pretty much.
Yeah.
He's really, really inspired by that. And he just likes, to take influence from that and just come up with these stories that kind of blend, science fiction and just different concepts, from that with like, I guess just life in general. I mean, there are some songs that I think are more on like the science fiction and like alien invasion and that kind of stuff
Yeah,
playing, but then you have songs that are a little bit more, on the like, I guess, personal
sure,
side. But then on the other hand, there's the music actually, which I think also for example, from my point of view, I'm really into like sci-fi horror cinema, and
sure.
that kind of stuff. That's been a big influence on me in terms of like I really like, movie scores, and that's been a big influence. And I think that it kind of makes me, when I compose, I try to create this certain atmosphere that you
Sure.
can often have in these films, like, with these like spacey, weird parts
Yeah.
on the whether it's on the guitar or when we add some, we have a guest, our lovely friend Chris, who's doing the synthesizers and the instrumental tracks. So we just kind of want to, to make you feel like you're watching a sci-fi movie, but not only while reading the lyrics or listening to them, but actually when listening to the music as well. And I think that some of the tracks are, they are more on the kind of sci-fi fantasy fairy tale like side when you have
Yeah.
songs like Voyager or Waves of Time, but then you have the more horror and the more, well, yeah, the more horror tracks that, I mean, you could imagine watching like, I don't know, Star Wars and then switching it into The Thing or The Blob or all these other, crazy body horror movies from the 80s or something, so
Yeah.
that's, yeah, it might seem kind of cheesy, but in the end, that's kind of what it is, at least for me, like I said, I mean, I absolutely love movie scores and I've been inspired by them as well. And even though I
Sure.
can't play the synthesizer, I can try to do, some kind of melodies that would seem like something that just comes out from a sci-fi movie,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I love that.
definitely that's been a huge inspiration. And I think that it's more visible on this record than it was on the previous one, I guess. And that is one of the main things that at least I'm really happy about, that we managed to incorporate a lot of these elements in here that probably weren't as prominent on the first album. So, you know.
Awesome. Um, well, that was all I had planned to ask you. But of course, before I let you go, I want to give the floor to you. Plug where you can find your music, where you can find your merch, all of that. Plug, give an inspirational quote, plug your favorite Chinese restaurant. I don't care. Give it. Go for it.
Well, all I can say, thanks for having us. It's been
Yeah.
absolutely great and absolute pleasure for us to be here.
Yeah.
You can of course pick up our album from 20 Bucks Spin or any of your favorite distros out there. There's also some stuff that we did like self-release stuff or t-shirts or some other merch that's currently there or coming, and that's available also on our Bandcamp page. So you can get that as well. Yeah, favorite Chinese restaurant? I don't know. I think I'm gonna go to vegan ramen shop today, actually, here in Warsaw. And I'm gonna have the pumpkin spice ramen. So I can't wait for
All right.
that.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
Right.
I'll go with pizza.
You go with pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Everyone at home, check out Changelings by Species. It's out now. It's been out for about a couple weeks. Thank you to my patrons as always to keep the show running. My name is Maddie, aka Beavermosh, and we're out of here. Bye.